Florida is an interesting state. Now, I remember back after Parkland, because I want you to remember, just because you have a Republican or more Republicans than Democrats in the state legislature. Now, back, 4 years ago, there were a lot of Republicans in the state legislature, but just because someone's a Republican hi, you've seen Mitt Romney, right? In Texas, we have a major, Republican legislature, but there's a lot of stuff that they don't do. So it's not a guarantee. Now, I will say in the past 4 years, they have grown demonstrably more conservative, like legit constitutional Republicans, but not all. You still have some more moderate areas in Florida where you're going to find some pushback from Republicans on some certain issues. So DeSantis was on and we talked over everything from Reedy Creek, and I asked him about constitutional carry. Now, there are some people out there who I believe are questionably motivated, but there are some people out there who are trying to, they were making the assertion that somehow he signed the red flag law or something in Florida. Rick Scott was the governor when that passed, and Rick Scott was the individual who signed the red flag portion. And I was talking to a friend of mine who does some lobbying in Tallahassee. And they were telling me that, at the time when that was happening, it was a major slap fight, and that it was all with the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Commission, and that people were trying to get this commission, and that Democrats were insisting you have to have this to get this, and that some of the weaker Republicans at the time had compromised on that. And that is ultimately how that ended up. It got really weird there for a little bit in Florida. And it's weird because that's the state that first had concealed carry. Introduced concealed carry, and look, the crime rate went down. Crime rate has continued to go down. They're like a 50-year low for crime in Florida. I just was looking at this the other day. So with constitutional carry, I get the sense that it's sort of the same thing, because I was asking my friend this. I said, and we're actually going to talk to somebody with Gun Owners of America, because I like talking to people who have their lobbyists right there in the Capitol. So what my understanding was, because I was asking a friend of mine, the legislature has changed significantly. So now it's more conservative, and there are more things. I don't think that today's legislature, I don't think that they would have passed red flag. Passing red flag and then repealing red flag, I think, are two different things. I don't even like the fact that you have to go through that process, because I think it's just an absolute abridgment of a natural right. But I digress. That's, part of the issue, but it's also can be, kind of a separate discussion as well. So I was asking my friend about this, and I was saying, well, the way that I was understanding it with constitutional carry in Florida, you can concealed carry without a permit, but open carry is still not allowed. And my understanding is that there are still some Republican lawmakers and members of Florida state legislature that are in some of these more purpley areas who are resistant to giving that part up. Like, they want to go so far to make some of their voters happy, but to maintain their seats in that purple area, they don't want to go all that way. I mean, it's a piece of cloth, but I mean, I'm right with you on this. I'm like, it's a piece. Do you think that magically having it under your T-shirt is going to somehow make it? I mean, it's just it's stupid semantics is what it is. But there's a level of strategery and gamesmanship apparently happening there. And Kane and I were talking about this too. I mean, I know some people, I don't think whether or not you would rather concealed carry or open carry is even part of the discussion. I mean, you should be able to carry it however you want to. It just is funny to me that some of the members of the Florida state legislature think that a piece of cloth is going to somehow be the difference. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of so that's what I've been hearing. Now, additionally, on the red flag issue, I don't know where people get this from, and I understand, and I want to caution you on stuff. I mean, I'm always upfront with people on the candidates that I like, and I always go. I go with the candidate and the general. I mean, heaven forbid, no one wants a Marxist in the White House. However, I'm just not going to be gaslit by people who know less on this issue than me. I'm not. And if there's something I don't know, I go to somebody who will know it, and I'll bring that person in front of you. Because come on, when you got a lot of skin in the game and you've taken a lot of knocks for it, you make sure that you're damn right on certain issues so that when you speak on them, you know them. And I also think that I owe that to all of you. So there's this argument going, or this issue being pushed forward that somehow that DeSantis was in favor of red flag law, which is weird. And I'm getting this video because it's on Facebook and Steve's got it. He's like on video campaigning against them. It's odd. I mean, and CNN was railing on him at the time. This was back in 2018. By the way, I found this thing literally within 3 seconds on Google. I Google searched it on the internet. Super simple. I know it's wild how those things are hidden out open and public like that. So they said that when he was a candidate in 2018, DeSantis opposed the gun restrictions in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Public Safety Act, and he actually told the Florida Sun-Sentinel that he would have vetoed it. And then he was on camera at an event campaigning against red flag law. So we're going to get that. I'm going to get that isolated and we'll post that. It's like an hour. It's like over an hour long. Again, it took 3 seconds of a Google search to find this. And there's a whole bunch more of him out there actually opposing. So I don't understand why people are saying that he was in favor of them. Now, he's also the governor of Florida. The way that I look at this, and this is why, again, I go back and I asked my friend, I said, okay, so be straight with me here. Why hasn't it been repealed? And my friend said, well, it's not like that hasn't been brought forward, but there are some Republicans who will absolutely not go for that in the state legislature. And that there has been a considerable amount of time spent whipping votes and trying to get them to move in that direction. So, and that's the process. And like I said, I don't like that there's a process for a natural right, because I just consider anything that's abridging a right, that's an unnatural process, not a natural process. But I don't think that they're not going to, I mean, he can call for something and try to demand that it be passed. But if you have a number of Republican lawmakers in Florida that aren't going to do it, then it's going to die on the vine. And with a lot of these instances, you get one chance every few years to do it. And you want to make sure that you do it right and you get it done. You don't want to have to, and especially on this issue. I do think that it will be repealed. I don't know if it'll happen this legislative session, but I do absolutely think it'll be repealed at some point, especially because the Florida state legislature has gotten so much more conservative. It's good that they're getting constitutional carry. Maybe they can change the point about the cloth being over it. But I will say this. I am definitely not going to take lectures about this from anyone who backs candidates who said the quote, first take the guns, then due process. I sure as hell am not going to get lectured to by anybody who's professionally standing for a candidate who wanted to ban bump stocks. And I sure as hell am not going to take any kind of lectures or missives from anyone who professionally stands for a candidate who also wanted to go out and ban suppressors. So I'll do this all damn day. If you got a question, feel free to ask me. But I'm telling you something, don't ever assume something about me without receipts.